Hello, welcome to our channel Contemporary Literary Review India. Hello, welcome Dr. Mehak Burza to our channel. How are you?
Hello, sir. Good morning. I'm good. And thank you so much for conducting this interview with me.
Okay, that's great. So to begin with, I saw that you have expertise spanning a wide area of interest, okay, from Holocaust studies to English literature. So could you tell us about your journey in academia and how you found yourself delving into such diverse fields, particularly with focus to Holocaust?
So, my academic path has been marked with curiosity and exploration. I began in the scientific realm where I valued empirical and analytical approaches. However, I found a profound transformative power in English literature where words provided an insight into the human experience. And my interest grew during my master's in war literature, where I saw the intersection of science and literature, particularly in understanding notions like PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, which kind of led me or catapulted me into the realm of Holocaust literature during my PhD. And this journey, as I embarked on my PhD research on Holocaust studies, it became a personal quest to comprehend and acknowledge the atrocities of history, delving into the depths of human cruelty, resilience through survivor interviews and discussions with trauma experts. And I must briefly add to this that in my academic journey, I have come to view the realms of Holocaust studies and English literature not merely as separate fields, but as beautifully intertwined strands of an interdisciplinary tapestry. So it's like discovering two pieces of a puzzle that fit together seamlessly, each enhancing each other's brilliance. And for instance, in the pages of English literature, I found a profound exploration of the human condition. But yet, it was within the harrowing narratives of Holocaust literature that I discovered a raw and unfiltered glimpse into the humanity's darkest hour. And this intersectionality, um, I believe, goes beyond mere academic curiosity. It is a profound recognition of the complexity of human experience. And so while some may see them as separate disciplines, I have come to embrace their interdisciplinary nature, a fusion of literature, psychology, medicine, law, storytelling, history, and much more, each contributing to a richer and more nuanced understanding of the human story. And I must say that it is this dynamic interplay between the disciplines that continues to fuel my passion for exploration and discovery in academia.
Nicely put. Okay. So why are you interested in raising the issues related to Holocaust? What is your primary goal out of this?
Raising issues related to the Holocaust, I think, is crucial for several reasons. Firstly, it serves as a stark reminder of the atrocities that humanity is capable of, fostering a commitment to prevent such horrors from happening again in future. Secondly, it honors the memory of the millions who perished and acknowledges the suffering of survivors. Thirdly, understanding the Holocaust helps combat Holocaust denial and distortion, promoting historical accuracy and truth. And finally, studying the Holocaust encourages reflection on broader themes such as prejudice, discrimination, and the importance of standing up against injustice, fostering a more compassionate and informed society. So, my primary goal, I would say, is to educate and raise awareness about the Holocaust and its significance, particularly within India. And as an extension of this goal, um, it is to combat misinformation and distortion surrounding this historical event, which I think is the need of the hour.
Okay, okay. Of late, in last 2 decades, I believe that there is much study going around Holocaust. Okay, so as you are involved into Holocaust studies, could you share with us some of the key initiatives or projects you may be involved in?
I am involved with various institutions and organizations in many capacities. To begin with, there is the GCRR, the Global Center for Religious Research, founded by Dr. Darren Slade, where I serve as the head as well as the program director of Global Holocaust and Religious Studies. So this position enables me to organize conferences. For instance, from 2022, we have started an international e-conference on Holocaust studies in collaboration with the Eckermann Center of the Holocaust Studies at UT Dallas. Next is the Teach the Shoah organization, founded by Dr. Deborah Fripp. It was during my doctoral research that I came across this wonderful organization with amazing storytelling mentors like Jennifer and Lynn. Besides being a board member of the organization, I am a regular Holocaust storyteller, and also I'm a part of the interfaith community. Another is the NIHE, which I'm fortunate enough to be a part of. It is the Network for Innovative Holocaust Education, founded by the very accomplished Adi Rabinowitz Bedin last year, where we hold talk sessions on a regular basis. And I'm also a part of the editorial board of the journal Digital Holocaust Memory, led by Dr. Victoria Grace Walden. This journal is a part of the Landecker Digital Memory Lab, funded by the Alfred Landecker Foundation, and it's positioned across the Sussex Weidenfeld Institute for Jewish Studies and the Sussex Digital Humanities Lab at the University of Sussex. And besides all this, I'm also a contributor to Project Inge, led by Dr. Stephen Smith. The Writing on the Wall project, it was an initiative led by Professor William Kohlberner, started right after October 7th. And currently, I'm also a participant in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Holocaust Memory course of Western Galilee College, led by Professors Boaz Cohen and Edna Pasha. So that sums up my current roles.
Okay, okay. So where are these institutions like GCRR and NIHE?
GCRR is located in Denver, Colorado.
Hmm.
And Teach the Shoah is a kind of a global organization with its members being all across the globe.
Okay, okay. So when you talk about storytelling about Holocaust, so what are the elements, primary elements that help to create stories around Holocaust atrocities or incident?
So I believe that storytelling humanizes the Holocaust by making it more relatable and accessible to the diverse audience, including the interfaith communities. So I believe that the stories come to life through narration. And when we pick up stories, when we pick up excerpts, so the Holocaust testimony-based storytelling, of which I am a regular narrator, is very essential due to its intimate and relatable nature. Providing a platform for listening fosters a connection to history through personal narratives, which is very vital in an era of distortion and waning interest. So integrating such stories into education, like classrooms, fosters empathy and engagement by making history personal. And I also feel that engaging with these narratives also sparks personal journeys of exploration and a desire to share acquired knowledge. So, through individual stories, the excerpts, the storytellers gain an insight into the individual and collective experience of the Jewish people during the Holocaust, offering a context for contemporary events. So, through this alchemy of storytelling, the ashes of despair in the hallowed pages of survivor testimonies are transformed into flames of remembrance, illuminating the path towards a more compassionate and interconnected world.
Okay, you mean that these stories are from different books, fiction or non-fiction, like that. So you means all the participants generally narrate all these stories from these books, is it?
Particularly the testimonies, the memoirs.
Okay, okay. So I thought that okay, there may be some different elements of how to tell stories in a different way, particularly focused on Holocaust incidents.
Yes, that also comes under, it also forms a part of this because we have mentors who train us,
Hmm.
and then we pick up specific stories or excerpts from the story, which is
Hmm.
particularly a testimony or a memoir, and then we see how we can, the pitch and the tone of the voice, the pauses, the
Okay.
emotions. So we work on that to bring out the final result.
Okay. 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 Okay, so I wish that there should be separate formatting as well as we talk about like Black American stories or
Yeah.
in poetry as well. So there should be some formatting actually to
There
tell
is
certain so that it becomes a separate genre. Okay.
yes. I would say the primary elements involved, particularly in Holocaust storytelling, uh, would include historical accuracy, the themes of resilience and survival, and the depictions of suffering and loss. Also, the ethical considerations, the dilemma, and the exploration of human capacity, both for evil and compassion.
Hmm.
So these elements, I guess, work together to convey the complexity and gravity of the Holocaust experience.
Okay. For PhD thesis that was titled as Literary Representation of Holocaust, an assessment like sounds incredibly intriguing. That is okay, one side. But could you give us some overview of main themes and findings of your research during your PhD period?
So I did my PhD on Holocaust studies from the Department of English. Again, an interdisciplinary approach. So my thesis basically explores the gendered responses to the Holocaust from the vantage points of trauma, memory, and identity. If we see that the scholarship on women and Holocaust, they began only in the 1980s and 90s, when significant changes began to occur in the global milieu. So the lacuna of belatedness of female response is examined in my thesis through select female memoirs and diaries. And the primary and additional memoirs of Ruth Kluger, Eva Moses Corr, and Lucille Eichengreen are analyzed through the repetition compulsion phenomena, the fidelity to trauma, the late trauma theory, founding trauma, as given by various theorists. And then the diaries of Anna Frank, Rutger Laskier, and Mary Berg are analyzed by taking into account their trajectory of publications along with the year of discovery of the diaries. So basically, my thesis is an attempt to open up new lines of inquiry in the domain of women and Holocaust.
Okay, okay. In your work, you have explored the gendered response to the Holocaust through like trauma, memory, identity. Okay. So, what insights did you uncover about how gender influences individual experiences and collective memory of such traumatic events?
So the traumatic experiences of women were numerous and varied, both during the ghetto formation and later in the concentration camps. And now, it's not to undermine the sufferings of any gender, but it's just to shed a light on, you can say the darker side or the hazier side in order to comprehend a fuller understanding of the Holocaust. So during the ghettoization, the Jewish men were the first ones to be arrested because of their obvious physical appearance. Women were thus left alone to fend with the responsibilities of their families. They juggled with the occupational role by becoming breadwinners, as well as the domestic role with their job as caretakers and emotional comforters for their children. After the establishment of the concentration camps, the traumatic aspects became multifold for women. It included the vulnerability to rape, humiliation, sexual exchange, the fear of talking about pregnancy, abortion, pain, and fear of being separated from their families. So they were basically faced with choiceless choices. And this trauma of choiceless choices began right since their arrival on the Judean ramp. The women were segregated from their male counterparts. And those who were pregnant or seemed unhealthy or weak, they were immediately sent to gas chambers along with their children. And those women who were selected for work were first forcibly made to undress in front of the male guards. And they were shaved all over and then tattooed with numbers.
Oh, yeah.
So for religious women, for religious Jewish women who after marriage keep their hair covered in public, this was a spiritual assault. And oftentimes even the private parts were searched to ensure that they were not hiding any item of utility or any vegetable that would aid them in their survival in any way. And additionally, there was also an all-women's camp called the Ravensbrück concentration camp, which was termed as the Hitler's hell for women. And the women used in the experiments in the camp were often unable to walk due to an injury caused due to a certain tendon or a ligament or a spinal nerve of the lower limbs. And as they hopped in the camp, unable to walk properly, they were commonly referred to as Ravensbrück rabbits. And there was also a special torture room that was kept for women. And if caught stealing, unlike their male counterparts, the punishment for women was also double-fold, as it included raping after undergoing the whipping torture. And women were also employed in the concentration camp brothels. So Heinrich Himmler ordered the the construction of camp brothels in 10 of the concentration camps. And they served as an incentive intended to encourage the male prisoners in order to improve their work efficiency. So already living in double jeopardy as Jews and as women, these additional traumatic factors for female prisoners attributed to a corrosion of their self to such an extent that the women stopped feeling humiliated as they no longer regarded themselves as human. So considering all these factors, I argue in my dissertation that women narratives of the Holocaust provide a unique intersection where traumatic lacuna meets the language, as the trauma is narrativized in their belatedness. And subsequently, a focus on gender in the Holocaust studies reveals an insight into the hazier side, which is often useful in illuminating the richness of the domain as we become more attentive towards a fuller understanding of the Holocaust.
Oh my God. It was so traumatic. So how do you see storytelling contributing to Holocaust education and remembrance, particularly within the context of interfaith communities? Because it is very difficult when you actually people are this means particularly participants are of different faiths.
Yes, but as I said previously, that the interfaith communities, they are a group of diverse audience, and storytelling is one such genre that that has a potential to act as a bridge between the past and the present, and it immediately captures and captivates your interest, thereby humanizing the Holocaust and making it more relatable and accessible.
Okay. So you contribute as a commissioning or editor at the Strife Blog and Journal, right? So
Yes.
what are your primary goals there? How do you contribute?
As a commissioning editor, I actively engaged in contributing articles for the blog. So it basically provided a space for scholars, practitioners to engage in interdisciplinary dialogue and share insights and perspectives. So by curating content that transcended disciplinary boundaries, it aims to foster a vibrant intellectual exchange and contribute to a deeper understanding of complex issues.
Okay, okay, okay. So now the important question is like, can you mention some of the writers who you read a lot, particularly to get a clear understanding about Holocaust? So can you mention some of the writers and their books?
There are plenty, a multitude of writers. So, because writers, I feel, is an umbrella term that includes writings of the Holocaust survivors, the theorists, as well as the professors who teach the subject.
Hmm.
So, apart from Holocaust survivors and their subsequent generations, we have writers like Viktor Frankl, Myrna Goldenberg, Delia Offer, Leonore Wiesman, Rochelle Seidel, John Roth, Carol Rittner, Sarah Cushman, Alexandra Zapruder. And most importantly, there are also professors from whom I have personally learned a lot.
Okay.
And those include Michael Berenbaum, James Young, Niels Romer, David Patterson, Zev Garber, Kenneth Hansen, Bernice Lerner, Doris Bergen, Mehnaz Afridi, Boaz Cohen, Joanna Sliva, and they have been extremely generous towards me. And I have been very fortunate enough to read, review, and discuss their books with them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I think I'll always continue to learn from their wisdom.
Okay, that's great. Now we are coming to the conclusion of our interview. So, what is your final message to the humanity?
That's that's an interesting question. My message to humanity echoes with the timeless virtues of compassion, empathy, remembrance, and vigilance. The values that I believe serve as guiding lights in our collective journey towards a more harmonious and enlightened world. Compassion, for instance, reminds us to extend a helping hand to those in need, to embrace the diversity of human experience. It is the foundation upon which we build connections, understanding, and ultimately a compassionate society. Empathy calls us to step into the shoes of others, to listen with an open heart, and to recognize the shared humanity that unites us all. It is through empathy that I believe we bridge the divides, break down barriers, and forge genuine connections that transcend the differences. And remembrance, it honors the stories of those who came before us, preserving their memories and acknowledging the lessons of the Holocaust. So it's a
Okay.
solemn pledge to never forget the struggles, sacrifices, and triumphs of those who came before us. And lastly, vigilance that I mentioned, it serves as a beacon of caution in a world with challenges, reminding us to remain vigilant against injustice, oppression, and the forces of hatred and division. So it's a call to action, urging us basically to stand up for what is right, to defend the vulnerable, and to uphold the principles of justice and equality for all. So, together, these values transcend not only the spatial and temporal boundaries, but also the boundaries of religion and nationality. So, these values form the cornerstone of a more just and inclusive society, a world where every individual is seen, heard, and valued. where the bonds of humanity unite us in our shared journey towards a brighter future.
Okay, okay. That's so nice. Thanks a lot to share all these views and information. I hope that the world becomes peaceful and happier.
That's the need of the hour. Thank you so much for conducting this interview and having me here.
Thank you for watching us. Don't forget to subscribe to us to watch more videos on books and authors.